Well, hello and welcome to the Masters of Travel Travel Talks. And my name is John Werner. I'm the president of MAST Travel Network. We're a network of about 1,000 travel advisors, experts in travel all over the world. And with me today is one of our travel advisors, Jeni Chaffer. And Jeni is in St. Lucia, beautiful St. Lucia there. The water looks wonderful. So Jeni, I guess I want to start out by asking some other, questions about your whole travel experience there that we can share with the audience and people who would also wish to take a trip at this time or in the very near future. So I usually start out by saying, who did you fly to St. Lucia? What airline? What was the experience like, and the arrival on the airport there, and so forth?
Sure. So, as you know, St. Lucia is one of the islands that you need to test before you come. You have to be tested within 7 days of travel, and there's a few steps actually to travel to St. Lucia, but the St. Lucia Tourism Board has gone above and beyond. They actually have an infographic, shows you exactly step by step what needs to happen. So you have to register on their website, then you go have your COVID test, and then once you receive your negative results, you send it in. And it's a good thing they have that step, because my COVID tests were the same as when I had gotten them in August when I traveled to the Dominican. However, it did not have that it was a PCR test. It just had that it was a swab. So they emailed me back and said, we need it to say PCR. So I had to go back to the hospital and get another form from them, because in their system showed it. It just didn't show it on my copy. So there's just some of those little things that I'm very glad that, I experienced. So now that I'm aware of that, once you send that in, you get a confirmation email. Then they also have another form. It's a health questionnaire you have to fill out. Once I got to the airport, they did go through all of my documents, made sure everything was in order. I had the confirmation email, my PCR test results. Flight was very, very easy. Unfortunately, it was not very full, even for a nonstop, but great flight. Once we landed, you go into the area where it's set up very, very nice. You go through, they check your temperature, and then they check all of your documents. I was in and out of there in just a matter of minutes because I had my form and I had everything in order. Some of the other people on our flight did not have that form. They missed that step. And so they were able to do it. They were able to complete it right there, but it's a 2-page questionnaire. So it does take a little bit of time. They then give you a wristband, and you have to leave that wristband on until you arrive at the resort to know that you actually have gone through the process and you are cleared to enter the country.
Oh, okay.
When I was in immigration, they had me show my band as well to make sure that I hadn't skipped that step. So they really are checking at several levels, which makes me feel good. There's nobody trying to, buck the system there.
Right. Well, there are several steps to go through, but it looks like with the help from the St. Lucia Tourist Board, they make it as easy as they can
Yes.
to make sure that everybody can get through it. So that's wonderful. So then when you, so what's the flying time between Chicago and St. Lucia?
It was supposed to be 5.5 hours, but we made it in 4.5 hours. So I'm not going to ask why, but it worked. So we actually, most of the flights, but the nonstops, by the time you land, go through everything. And then it is quite a far transfer to get here. So a lot of my clients actually do the helicopter transfer in, so they arrive earlier. But if you do that drive, a lot of times you get here right after sunset. We were actually here early enough that we were in our rooms right as sunset was happening.
Okay.
So it was nice, and we did make it a little bit easier. There are a lot of flight times with stops through Miami.
Right.
But they do have the nonstops on Saturday out of O'Hare on both American and United.
Well, that's good. That's good to know. And so then what was the ground transportation then that you took from the airport to the resort?
So at the St. Lucia airport, they actually have a Sandals lounge. So as soon as I cleared customs, there was someone there to help me with my bags, take me into the lounge. They then radio ahead to let Sandals Resort know that I am on my way. We were in there maybe 10 minutes, long enough to use a restroom and grab a beverage. And then we were on our transfer drive to go across the country. But even that it's great because you have our tour guide was, our driver was a tour guide essentially. He was pointing out different places. He stopped along the road so we could take a picture of a part of the island because there was a couple on the transfer with me that had never been here before.
Okay. So, and yeah, so then what is the ride time? You said it's a little.
To get to Sandals Grand, because it's literally the opposite end of the island, it's about an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay, all right. So
Sounds like a long time, but it passed very, very quickly.
yeah, well, you do get to see a lot of the island, which is
Yes.
gorgeous, and I like to see. I'm going to ask you in a little bit. I have some questions about that, but the so I know you're on this trip. You're going to be visiting several Sandals properties, and so you'll be able to make some comparisons and so forth. I mean, have you already thought about at this particular resort, the Grand St. Lucian, and the type of clients that would just love it there?
This resort is my favorite for everybody because the way it sits, like Mr. Anderson said, there's a water view no matter where you're at. The beach is literally steps from your room. I'm right now sitting by the overwater bungalows and they are phenomenal. You truly do feel like you're in Tahiti with some of these overwaters. But the layout and the way it is set up, it's great for all ages because you don't have to walk far distances from your room to dining, your room to the beach, some of those things. And as he said, there are little bars set up all over. So you could literally leave your room, pass by a bar to grab a cocktail before you went to your dining last evening. The show was right around the pool, so it was right there as well. They've had activities in the lobby, and they do have elevators. So it's very manageable for people of all ages.
Yeah,
but for me, I truly love it for my honeymooners because it is such a tropical and exotic location that a lot of people haven't been to.
Yeah, the water, the way Mr. Anderson was describing the overwater bungalows and, being on top of an aquarium, just sounds fabulous. And so that you can get that overwater bungalow experience, which not every resort has.
Right, and even here, before we got started, the pier I'm on, I just happened to look over the edge, and I haven't looked at my video yet, but there was a huge school of fish swimming directly below me. So I'll share some of those pictures if they turned out.
Okay, great. Well, there was also reference made to like 12 restaurants on property. So I know you're not going to be there long enough to try them all, but of the restaurants you've already experienced and everything, what's your favorite?
Oh, favorite. I don't know that I could do favorite, but I've had a variety of seafood at 3 different restaurants far, and they've all been amazing. I had a swordfish steak that was to die for. I've had scallops, shrimp, you name it. If it's a seafood, I'm willing to try it. And I surf and turf the first night, so the steak was wonderful as well. A lot of times people are afraid to order a steak in the Caribbean, but I can tell you Sandals food, there's no comparison. Everything is top notch.
It's wonderful, yeah. And for breakfast and lunch, is it, how are they serving those 2 meals?
So they do have room service, and of course that is my preference because I like to just sit outside on my balcony, listen to the waves, and enjoy my Blue Mountain coffee. They do have that, which is my absolute favorite. But they are serving, I know some of the other people went to the Italian restaurant this morning they're doing an a la carte breakfast there. So I will try that tomorrow. I haven't gone out to do that so far. I've just been enjoying the included room service.
Right, yeah, which is wonderful. So I also reference was made to shows outside of the traditional showroom, which a lot of resorts have. But to hear about the fact that they've done a water show there, and what other types of things have you been able to see so far?
The night before, was it the night before, I believe, there was they had a clarinet. It was a clarinet player, correct? Yes. Clarinet player in the lobby. She was amazing. She was playing all types of music. Then after that, they had a DJ. So, and the DJ was taking requests. So several people did get up and dance. It was a good time. Last night, the same thing. The show ended, the water fire show, and then it did start raining just a little bit. So most people ended up in the lobby, sitting around talking, and then the DJ was playing and kept going from there. But it's nice because it's been a variety. There's lots of different places to sit and have a conversation. And we were able to sit at the table and talk with the DJ and dance floor, at the other side of the lobby without any problem. A lot of times it's just so loud you can't do that.
Yeah. And what is your room like? I mean, how spacious are the rooms and the amenities in the rooms and so forth?
My room is amazing. I have a fabulous view. If anybody is on my Facebook page, they saw the sunset last night from my balcony. I have one of the club rooms, so I have access to the club lounge, which is a concierge service, and they are really there to help you with anything you need. They'll make your dining reservations. Yesterday, when I needed ice for my room for my knee, they were able to get that for me, so I didn't have to go out hunting for it. Just a lot of those things. I do have a walk-in shower in mine, which is huge, very nice, spacious bathroom. Beds are huge. It's got a sitting area with both a chair and a couch. So if you do need to do some work, you can do that too. And then the balconies are just second to none because you are, I mean, they should be called oceanfront, even though technically they're not. But I feel like I'm oceanfront sitting out on my balcony.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Very nice. I said a minute ago, I was going to ask you about the rest of the island. So I know you're going to get to experience some of the other Sandals properties and see some more of the island. What are the kinds of things that you recommend that people do when they're in St. Lucia if they want to do something off property?
One of the things you really need to do here is go out on a boat tour, a catamaran tour, something like that. I am doing one tomorrow that we are going out on the boat. We are going to snorkel and then go to where the Pirates of the Caribbean were filmed. Some of those things. On previous trips, I've been on a catamaran cruise that we've gone down to the Pitones and snorkeled right at the base of those.
Oh, nice.
It's a beautiful way to see the island. You pass by a lot of the other properties, but you also get just a feel of the lushness of the island, seeing it from the outside. But honestly, this is one of the best places that I've ever snorkeled because the water is so perfect here. You literally can just lay there and watch these amazing fish without having to work too hard.
Right. Yeah. And that's what I've always heard about St. Lucia is that, the water is calm. There's a lot of bays or coves. And
yes.
So that would be a really ideal situation for snorkeling and just enjoying the water.
And of course, there's amazing scuba diving down here. And as you may know, Sandals includes two tanks for certified divers. So if you have any divers, this is the perfect place because it's included, and that adds up quickly if you have serious divers traveling for a week or more. I met a couple from Iowa that came down here specifically for 2 weeks just so they could dive.
Wow. Okay, that's great. And golf too is often included as Sandals properties, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do they have golf? They have golf courses, of course, on St. Lucia, right?
They do, but I've never had anyone golf here. I know they do quite a bit in Jamaica properties.
Okay.
At those courses. But if I have golfers, I honestly do Sandals Emerald Bay because you can't beat that course.
Yeah, that's great. So what would you say about renting a car on St. Lucia. Is that something that a lot of people prefer to do because there's so much to do?
Yeah, um, people always think they want to. I try to talk them out of it just so I don't have to worry about them because they do drive on the other side of the road.
Okay.
And, I just, so yes, you can do it and it's very easy to do it and get around. But there's so many great drivers and taxis are available. And now they have the certified taxi. So, you're getting in one that is safe to travel in. So, there's really no need.
Right. Um, so, well, you mentioned, some of the must-see sites like the snorkeling and the pitons and so forth. Beaches. Mr. Anderson made reference to a fantastic beach at the resort there. And um, what are the beaches elsewhere like on the island?
They are, most of the beaches I've experienced here are nice and wide, very soft sand, and you can walk out quite a ways. So you don't have to feel like, you can only go into your waist and
Mhm.
then you have to swim. What's nice too about Sandals is they have rafts floating. I don't know if you can see them back there in my background or not, but you can get out there and then just float in the middle of the Caribbean Sea and enjoy the afternoon.
Nice, very nice.
So there
Um,
are beaches all over, and there are several excursions that will do that and take you and drop you off at another beach, and you can have lunch there. I've actually done an engagement like that. They went just for, thought they were going out for the day, and they ended up having a picnic lunch on a beach where he did the proposal.
yeah, good, very good. Well, and of course, the mention of the pop-up bars sounds really fun to me. What's your favorite cocktail at the resort?
They have a special rum punch here that was very good. But if I'm at a Sandals, they have my Appleton Estate, so I'm partial to that. So anything that I can include it with Appleton Estate, I'm happy.
Yeah, no, I like that rum as well. That's great. Um, so, in meeting with, I know, obviously you've met Mr. Anderson and other people at the resort and the chef, and you're going to do that at some of the other properties. Why is it so important to make these connections, and how does it benefit your customers?
Since I've been in business, I have always felt that those relationships are what has set my business apart from some others because I do take the time to travel and get to know the staff on property as well as off property. Your BDM is your first point of contact, and they're here to help you. They want you to succeed as much. But I do feel having those on resort connections are just amazing. If you want to have something special, or if you have arranged, if you have someone that has specific dietary concerns, they are great about that here. They have a department for that. But just to take that extra step for your client to be able to contact them in advance, give them a heads up of what it is, so you can reinsure your clients. It's just those little things that go the extra mile, and that's truly what sets a travel agent apart
Right? Yeah,
from
so
people doing
true.
it on.
So what would you say are your top three recommendations for visiting St. Lucia?
You need to prepare to unplug. There is no reason to be on your phone other than to take pictures and videos. You need to just allow yourself to relax and enjoy the breeze and the sounds of the waves. And then you do want to go off property at least once and experience this beautiful island.
That sounds so nice and just fantastic. Jeni, what else would you like to say about your experience there?
It honestly is. It's just been amazing. I mean, it's nice to get away when snow's coming, but all year round, this is just a fabulous location. The weather is amazing. Um, we're in the Caribbean, so you're going to have those showers, but they don't last very long. Last night was probably 5 minutes tops, and people were back out under the stars. it's just so beautiful, and it is an easy, yes, it's longer than going to Cancun, but it's not that much longer. So it's definitely something to consider. You need to come experience it for yourselves, and then definitely promote it for clientele, because this is a beautiful island.
Oh, nice. Very wonderful. Well, I really appreciate you visiting with us today, and especially taking some time out of your beautiful stay there at the resort. And loved hearing from Mr. Anderson and Chris Martin and everything. It's wonderful. So thank you very much, Jenny, and enjoy the rest of your stay in St. Lucia and the other resorts that you're visiting.
I will. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Masters of Travel. You can find us on Facebook at MAST Travel Network, on Instagram at MAST Travel Network, and on Twitter at MVP Travel. If you would like to find a travel advisor near you, please direct message any of our social media sites